Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today. Oh my. Oh my.
This is how we
Oh, we are.
This is how we do.
We are definitely here today. Oh, it's happening. Oh, it's happening. This is possibly the greatest live we could ever damn see, ladies and gentlemen. The lights are off because this is a deep, dark subject today. Oh, this is a deep, dark. It's almost as dark. Hold on. Before we get to going too deep here, with our glasses by Deathridge, let me say this right now, because something just went off the TV screen, and I have to, as a native Texan, of course, this Friday night, we're going to be having our live here on the Chaz, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, a live Friday fight night here on the channel. I don't know who you are betting on, but, man, it would be very sad to see Mike Tyson get knocked the fuck out. Can everybody agree with me? Thank you. That's all we need to know. But something else needs to happen in this regular sports world, okay? And once again, being from Dallas, this is a message to somebody who's watched the sport his entire life and had family members that were very successful in this sport. Okay, and the sport I'm talking about, before we get into all this stuff, which is, do we call it a sport? We're going to get into that subject today. Do we call it a sport at this point? But this sport called football, okay? We're just going to lead this off. I know this is live. A couple of people could be coming in. It could be a little second, clicking the link, seeing the link. But we're starting this off with a football opening subject. And that is a message from me to the Dallas fucking Cowboys. See, self-censored. The Dallas Cowboys. Let me tell you something, okay? Dak Prescott is hurt, okay? Right? And they throw this son of a bitch, Cooper Rush, in there, who did okay a couple years ago to sub for Dak. Okay, that's one thing, right? Now, Cooper Rush looked like what Cooper Rush was projected to be out of college. Nothing special. And on that subject, ladies and gentlemen, let's start saying the harsh truth about this Dak Prescott thing. He's looking like the same thing that he was projected to be coming out of college too, which is nothing fucking special. When I'm saying special, I'm talking Patrick Mahomes, I'm talking Josh Allen's, I'm talking about these guys. And when you're playing at Dallas, you need to be one of these guys, I feel like, personally. Now, there's some that are Tom Brady's, and everybody seems to be trying to find a Tom Brady or Brock Purdy now, right? And who knows that story don't have a period yet. Great team in San Francisco. But what I'm saying is you have to be elite. There's not too many Tom Brady's. There's not a lot of guys you're going to find at the back and going to develop. And most of the time, the elite quarterbacks were touted to be elite coming into the league. Your Aaron Rodgerses, your Peyton Mannings, your Drew Brees. These guys were projected to be something special. Even some others. C.J. Stroud. I mean, who knows? But still, first. I'm just saying. So, Dallas Cowboys, you have no more Dak, okay? He's out. Most people are questioning if he could really be that guy anymore, okay? Rightfully so. Because even though he's tall and pretty and has a nice wife and cries during proposals, he's not consistent enough. And when the pressure's on, he makes mistakes. Okay? This is the sad truth for the Dallas Cowboys and the future of their team. Cooper Rush, obviously, I guess a seasoned lifelong backup. But I asked I'm begging the Dallas Cowboys to please maybe reference the Minnesota Vikings right now, okay? Can you please reference the Minnesota Vikings? They have a guy named Sam Darnold who was technically a bust in 2 locations, and he got put into a position as a highly touted college quarterback, and he's doing well now. And there's some other guys who rode off by their initial team, gets into another situation and flourishes and looks great. The reason I say this, Dallas Cowboys, and maybe you're not doing this to protect the image of Dak, because you do a lot of this stupid imagery-based shit. Please put in the 3rd overall pick from the 2021 draft, a guy named Trey Lance. Okay? Now, I had a friend when I was a kid named Lance, and I had a friend when I was a kid named Trey. I'm not saying that makes any correlation right here. I'm just fucking saying. Dak's out. Cooper Rush is a bust. He ain't gonna get the job done. He ain't gonna save the season. Your only hope and potential future, and this is why I think you're not doing it, because of the threat that, say Trey Lance gets out there and does some special shit that he was touted to do, and now you got a quarterback discussion on who's who, and you just gave Dak the whole damn banking account. So maybe this is why Trey Lance didn't get put in the game Sunday, you son of a bitches, because you're trying to protect that image that you built, that you've been building on for 30 years, and that image is doing nothing but killing you on the inside. It's the reason you ain't went back and won Super Bowls, because you're always worried about projecting the damn image. And that's what's wrong with the Dallas fucking Cowboys. It ain't about, who play. It really ain't about the players. This is the image. I think this problem, this image problem I'm describing is the problem with Jerry Jones. This America's team, this image, trying to be all these bullshit fakeries. Instead of just putting players on the field that should be there, and let's try to do the best we can to win. So I don't know why that didn't happen Sunday when this Cooper Rush was fluffing fucking all over the field. But you got a number 3 quarterback, a number 3 out of the draft, Trey Lance, just sitting there. Who knows what this guy could do in another situation? Maybe he didn't like for the 49ers. Maybe that scheme didn't work. All these excuses they give other quarterbacks. But here's a guy who hasn't got a chance. He was drafted in 21, guys. That's 3 years ago. Brock Purdy's 2 years deep. So it's not like this guy had a real shot to really prove himself. Yeah, they traded him, but they found Brock Purdy. That's why they traded him to Dallas. So I'm just saying, I know this wasn't the conversation. This is definitely not the conversation at hand. But you Dallas Cowboy, you star image wannabe son of a bitches, stop trying to live up to an image and try to be the best that you can, because you're fucking failing horribly. You're embarrassing the city of Dallas. Hopefully Mike Tyson don't get his ass knocked out and embarrass the city of Dallas again too. Son of a bitch. I'm sorry. Who's in the damn comment sections? I can't believe this. I just can't believe this. What's the chatter-atter saying? Oh my God. Hold on here. That rattled him off. Braun the Con, good on Mr. Taylor. Oh my God. No one said Braun the Con, all right? No one say that. Somebody said they put Trey Lance in for 2 plays yesterday. We need to put him on the damn field for a full game, give him a whole week of reps. You got a damn 3rd overall pick just sitting. 3rd overall pick just sitting. And you're out there fucking around with Cooper Rush. Okay. We're going to get into some topics now. There's a lot of topics to get to. Obviously, there's a hot topic out there. We are going to talk about it. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty about it. But first up, as always, the special people, the sprint cars. And we'll be talking about them on the other side. Stay tuned. Have you been searching for that next level upgrade? Ready to invest into something that is in it for the long haul? Well, look no further than the composited innovations provided by Prime. These customly crafted pieces are handmade by former Jason Johnson Racing car chief and Prime owner-operator Clyde Cadiff. Prime Composite Innovations is located centrally in Missouri and is looking to provide that big-time performance at a fraction of that big-time price. For additional information, visit prime-composites.com today to see what they have to offer, as well as their stable of current full-time drivers that trust Prime with their ride. For the future of innovations, with the properly composited type, you can depend, move forward, and rely on Prime. Oh my, the push and flips. So, the push and flips. Yes, I know there's a late model Fender audience tuning in. Why can't we all just get along, people? Anyway, so for a little bit of a background to the Fender audience that don't know what I'm about to talk about, because everybody in the sprint car world already knows what I'm about to talk about. So, there's this new series out there that you ain't heard, Fender people, called High Limit Racing, okay? High Limit Racing was started by Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson. So, they started their first year last year as a 12-week mid-race series with Brad Sweet running it, Kyle Larson, but Brad Sweet was also running in the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series. This is the point standings from last year. Okay, he won the championship, actually did pretty damn well. Won the championship 60 points over David Gravel last year, picking up, I believe, his 5th title or something like that. Who cares right now? I mean, numbers never lie, but we're about to get into the damn numbers. Okay, so you have this situation. Brad Sweet wins the championship. Going on into this year, though, High Limit's going to go full-time series across the country, and Brad Sweet's going to leave. He's going to go High Limit. That's going to be the situation. That's how it's going to be played out. So Brad Sweet leaves and goes to High Limit. And David Gravel stays around, who finished second in the points last year. This is 2023 points. This is 2022 points. He finished second in 2022. I believe 2021, he was second as well. So you have a driver here. I think 2020, COVID, all this stuff, it wasn't a factor. But this was when the initial year of the Todd Queering Huset's number 2 machine that David Gravel and his team was formulated around. This was the beginning year in 21. Second to Brad Sweet, 22, second to Brad Sweet, 23, second to Brad Sweet, and then 24. Everyone is saying, now that the one that you couldn't beat is gone, there's an asterisk on your championship here, David Gravel. That's why everybody's saying this, okay? It's not like it's just out of nowhere thinking and people are crazy and why would you say that? You're so mean to David. No, they see a guy finish second every year. They see a guy lose the Super Bowl every year to a certain team, and then that team leaves the league. And the team that you couldn't beat every year wasn't there, and you win. And that's why people are saying this. That's why people are thinking this. This is why. I mean, okay, if it's right or wrong or whatever, that's why people are saying this. And I hear the arguments all the time. Bobby Davis Jr. and Donnie Schatz, they won when Kinzer left or USA Series and NSTs or whatever the hell. Where's their asterisk? Well, for those who haven't noticed, the world has changed just a little tiny bit. There's this thing called social media. There's these things since those time periods, since Bobby Davis Jr. for sure, there's these things called cell phones. And then there was a flip phone that came out after Bobby Davis. And then there was laptops that got into people's rooms, and this thing called the internet started. And you know, right there around, I think when Donnie won that championship, there was this thing called a smartphone with a screen on it, and you could read, and you didn't have to push the 1 or 2, 3 or 4 different times to send a text to write hello. It took you like 5 fucking minutes to say goodbye. I'm just fucking saying, guys, the world today is not that world. The world today is interactive, socially interactive. Everybody has a voice. They're saying something. They're thinking something. They're saying it at the instant they think it. Just like me, and that's why you love it, and that's why we love the world today. It's fully interactive. But I guarantee you, if you had those Donnie Schatz situations or that Bobby Davis Jr. situation happen in today's world, it would be bigger than this. They may not even say Bobby Davis Jr. Has an asterisk. They might not even consider Bobby Davis Jr. the champion, you know, at all, period, right? I mean, you're talking about taking away Steve Kinzer in the competition department, not Brad Sweet. Even though Brad Sweet, 5-time champion, badass in his own right, he's not Steve Kinzer. I don't think anyone would say he is. Could be doing just as special things as Steve. I mean, look at the competition today versus back then. The technology is more equal. Yeah, there's some rights there, but Steve Kinzer left and other top-tier name-right guys, and Bobby Davis Jr. won the championship. And I think that was the same case with Donnie Schatz and the NST split as well. So I think it would be even a bigger noise if that was the case, if we were in those years with today's technology and social interaction. But saying all this, I was trying to formulate the closest way especially with this two-team this year, because the two-team, like I said, Todd Quiring and them just starting that team with Cody and David putting that together back just a few years ago. That team had been growing, developing, and getting to the point to where they all are today. So it was like this consistent rise with this team as far as working together, gelling together, and having good performances on the racetrack. And this year, you know, David Gravel at tit for tat outperformed Brad Sweet when they were on the track at the same time. But Brad Sweet, the points racer, different than Brad Sweet, the event racer. And even though he wins some big events, obviously, he's got a Knoxville Nationals, he's got a Kings Royal. Brad Sweet's the ultimate points racer. I mean, look at, for those who keep up with sprint cars, he really didn't do nothing special this year at high limit. He had a really big slump. He had a good, strong end, but he destroyed him in the points. I mean, even with all the slumps that Brad Sweet had this year, he still destroyed high limit in the points category. It's a little bit closer over here. But there is one way to somewhat compare, for instance, last year's Brad Sweet to this year's Brad Sweet. So the only way I could formulate this idea of mine was to come here and look at the points of David Gravel. 9,020 points is what he ended the year with 66 starts on the track. So the only way we could get to a logical potential comparison to try to say if Brad was there, what would have happened, is to go by the law of averages in this scenario. From a championship year with Brad Sweet to a championship year with David Gravel. And Brad Sweet at 9,660 points and 71 starts. We even got this little thing over here called a calculator. Oh, we're going to use it later for your $100,000, bitch. Oh, we're going to use this. So with this calculator, we'll take the 9,660, and then we'll divide that by 71 starts, which means that Brad Sweet had 136.06, we'll round up to 5, average point night in his championship season, okay? So, but that's divided between 71 nights. We got 65 nights here with David Gravel's championship year. So to find out where Brad Sweet would have slotted into this points race, all we have to do is take his average night finish in a championship season and times it by 65 to figure out a round estimate of where Brad Sweet would have actually finished in this year's events. So then you got the 136. Let's clear this out. 136. We'll even do it 136.056 times the 65 nights, which would have roughly gave you 8,843, or we'll give it 44 points, which would have slotted Brad Sweet into second in the point standings. Would have put him at 88-44, which would have been 30 points behind David Gravel in the 2024 championship year. That's utilizing his 2023 average finish, average point night. That's how many points he would averagely get in a points race. Now, the only issue with that, and I did run across this as I was tinkering with this, is it shows Brad Sweet with 71 starts, but it's actually 72 because it looks like he missed a main event. You'll get this in some of the stats, just like here with David Gravel. He has 65 starts, but you see everybody else except Sheldon is sitting at 64. So Gravel actually started one night more than ever. Gravel and Hodenshout actually started one night more of every night. So then you would take that 966. Let's see here. Then you would take that 9,660 and divide it by 72, which would give you a 134.16. So then you do the 134.16 times the 65 nights. And that would give you 8720 So, in that estimation, if that's right, I'm just giving both examples here because I'm not sure what the one night, it could be like just a show point night situation. But in that situation where he pulls in the 87-20, he would have finished in third behind Macedo within the striking distance area, but ahead of Donnie Schott. So he would have been third in points. Now, there are other years in here where Brad Sweet did extremely well. For instance, we're sitting here talking about averages. The other one was that 136.05 average point night. 2022, for instance, here he had 69 starts with 9.282. Let's see here, 9.282. And that was 69, correct? Yeah, divided by 69. 134.52. See, that would have still finished, let's see here, 134.52 times the 65. Yep, 65. That would have put him 87.43. He's still finishing in third. Now, the only year I could find where he would have really did something drastic, and this was a very impressive year for Brad Sweet, and that was 2021. How about this? They had 77 race nights. He had 16 wins. No doubts in this one who was the champion. In fact, I believe in these 3 seasons I'm talking about, that is the most for wins. So, yeah, I mean, this year, Gravel got 15, so Gravel got close. But 2021, Brad Sweet was definitely stout. 10.594 on a 77. On a 77 night, that's a 137.58. So 137.58 times the 65 race nights would have been 89.42, which would have obliterated pretty much any championship run you would have. But outside the 2021 year, which was the first year with this team that David Gravel and them have been working on since then, David Gravel outdoes Brad Sweet. This year's David Gravel outdoes Brad Sweet in 23 and 22. And you can't really say this year because of the schedules and splits. But this was the only way that I could technically try to add some, David Gravel's year this year was a championship caliber year. So much so that his average point night would have beat an average point night of a Brad Sweet who won a previous World Outlaw Championship. Now, obviously, there's, once again, I said it the other day, there isn't an asterisk on this championship. I do think there is still a question mark, and even in this scenario, there's a question mark because we could do all these numbers, all these things. But at the end of the day, we would still have to sit here and be like, well, Brad Sweet wasn't in the field, so what would David Gravel's points be if he had to compete with Brad Sweet every night in and night out? Because the numbers I'm giving you from 23 and 22, David Gravel's there every night. So he's having to compete against him. Whereas this stat, these numbers, this points that is accumulated with David Gravel, it's not consistently competing against Brad. But it is consistently competing against the best of very stout field. And he consistently put up numbers, points, that was statistically, by the numbers, better than a Brad Sweet championship season in 23 and 22. I still say question mark because the question mark will always be there. What would have happened? It's not an asterisk. I feel like the word asterisk in today's scenario is like the Steve Kinzer to Bobby Davis Jr. If that thing would have happened in today's world, I don't even think they would consider, Bobby Davis Jr. the champion. I mean, it's the king. And I feel like the word asterisk in this situation is basically saying, well, if Brad was there, he would have won it. I'm saying question mark because it will be a question mark. If Brad was there, what would have happened? This type of season, a championship for David Gravel could have happened. There was a lot of could have happens in 2023. Last year, it was a toss-up. 22, a little further distance, but 21 obviously destroyed by Brad Sweet. But I do think there's a question mark. It's unfortunate there's not a period here, but the greatest thing the World of Outlaws and everybody can say to that is the reason there is a question mark and not a period is because these little fuckers known as Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson, started the series and split the sprint car world and fucked it all up. So you can just blame them for why this is even a topic, right? We can say that, right? I mean, that's the truth. I'm curious on the response from the chat down here. Is this how the people in the chat feel? I'm curious. I'm not sure. Tell Chaz to keep it down. Wow, here already the people are in here running their mouth. Where are you at, Luce? Oh my God, Chaz, I think your blood pressure is up. No, freaking Sean set this damn kennel on in here, whatever the hell it is, a fire pit. It's like 150 degrees down here. It's pretty insane. But what's more insane is the situation in the late model world. And ladies and gentlemen, you think the blood pressure is up now? Oh my God. You have no idea, ladies and gentlemen. What are y'all gonna say when this comes up? Late model topics, the push and flips are out of the way. Late model topics are next. Peyton Taylor as well. Oh my, oh my, oh my. We will see you on the other side. I gotta cool down. Look, another must-have product for some of you out there, and I have hands-on experience in this now, is the optics from Deathridge Certified Opticians. With drivers like Jonathan Davenport in the late model world and Donnie Schatz in the sprint car world utilizing these HD fog and glare resistant lenses, they have racked up millions of dollars. Yes, millions of dollars on the racetrack, especially JD. This same technology can be utilized in the world outside of racing. When I got my pair, my biggest notice in using them is driving. Previously, a nice scene of mountains or just some country prairies or trees or lakes or something as you're driving down the highway would be somewhat of a blur at extreme distances. But when I put this pair on, I feel like I could see the leaves on a damn branch from a half mile away. The scenes and views are just literally enhanced. At night, it used to be horrible in trying to either drive in the rain or dodging white-tailed deer in the middle of the night, leaving these tracks that are located in BFE. But with these optics from Deathridge, the anti-glare technology meant for the racetrack transfers into defeating those horrific LED lights on the egotistical maniacs out there in their 2004 souped-up pickup trucks on 35s. Whether you already have glasses or think you may need some, this is the way to go. And he supports motorsports. I mean, this is a full around 100%, good for you, good for him, good for everybody in the motorsports world. And with the wide range of styles I saw within his shop, it opens the possibilities to all walks of life inside and outside of racing. Call Greg today at 940-733-2843 or visit deathridgeopticians.com. DEATHERAGE opticians.com. And hey, let them know that you heard about them on the show. So, the situation, ladies and gentlemen, the situation that everyone keeps talking about. Oh my, here we go. Nose to nose, face to face, the image that shook the world and actually played a big factor into this Peyton Taylor situation. I can't wait to bring up this old Peyton Taylor. Oh boy, I can't wait. This is going to be good shit. Oh my. Oh man. Less than a month ago, Ricky Thorton Jr. and Chris Madden won a Lucas Dirt Championship together this past Saturday. They stood in victory lane, staring each other down like Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, like boxers preparing for a bout, they said. Oh my God, look at everybody laughing with the smiley faces there. Somebody said it right here, Ricky Paul versus Chris Tyson. This is where it's at. People actually have a sense of humor. I feel like the election really, when Trump won, it was literally like the end of the offensive era. Like, I think after the Trump victory, like, that was like America telling everybody, shut the fuck up and stop being offended all the time. Just have some fun. Crybaby ass snowflakes. Anyway, we are trying to perspirate up here. Sweat's going out, so sweat's coming in. That's all I'm trying to say. Comments are amazing. That's not racing, man. Come on. Coming from the same dude I've seen now move somewhere around 20 or so people out of the way to this weekend now for wins is crazy stuff. Sonoya's going to be a good watch. Apparently, Sonoya coming up this weekend. Everybody's going to be paying attention to Jake Paul. So maybe this is their way to get somebody to pay attention to Sonoya. I think that's what's happening here. Anyway, people are trying to figure out what's going on. Oh, wait, what's my say here? Recky Jr. had some rub on his car. Oh, my God, best part of the weekend. I used to like RTJ until I saw how he was racing, trying to wreck Madden instead of trying to pass him. Guess people are right. He's a crybaby. Oh, my God. There's always confrontation if Madden is involved. Dude is never happy, even when he wins. Oh, my God. I was hoping for good racing conversations here. Guess I am on the wrong post because this is a bunch of Karens arguing with a butt of Sallies. Drama queens. These fucking people. The comments, see, I mean, this stuff didn't exist when Bobby Davis Jr. was around, you know? What are you talking? Oh, well, he's still around, but when Bobby Davis Jr. was winning championships. Oh, my. There's a lot of people always talking about, I saw one comment about the whole Madden Overton situation where Madden took Overton out. Let's go read this story. Flow Racing has the inside scoop. Oh, God, we got to get off the image or it's going to flag us. Oh, God. Let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see what they had to say. Madden knew exactly. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Let's see. Thornton confronted Madden in victory lane for how I got ran earlier in Saturday's race. Contact on lap 4 that killed Thornton's left front suspension and therefore his ability to steer the rest of the feature. Madden knew exactly what Thornton was accusing him of, but the 49-year-old insisted that Thornton left the door open in turns 1 and 2 and I filled the hole. And he tried coming on back when I was there. We barely touched, Madden said sharply. If he calls that something, then he has a lot ahead of him in the racing world. He tried to crash me twice, sucker. That's not racing, man. Then Flow Racing puts the climax of the Madden Thornton deal. The climax. Okay, Flow. I knew that y'all had some interesting people working for y'all. I didn't know y'all were going all the way Ben Shelton haircut. Hold on, we got to continue. We were discussing the race. He wasn't happy with me. I wasn't happy with him. We left it at that and parted ways. And then his crew guy wants to start fighting. Kind of is what it is. That's what he said. When Madden was asked about his exchange with Thornton, that escalated into the skirmish on the front straightaway that required Speedway security to get involved. He said, I ain't listening to nobody's mouth, sucker. This is good. This is exactly what they needed right here. And then they go into talking about the racing. But apparently that's what happened. Madden said he doesn't take it personal when Thornton accused him of driving carelessly because Friday he spun out up here in turns 1 and 2. I'm in the middle of the racetrack, and he comes back across the track like a jackwagon, and he's plumb sideways. I guess he thinks I ran into him then. He's the one that spun out, was all up in the cushion. Whatever, bitch. It is what it is. He could think what he wants to, sucker. I ain't going to lose no sleep over this shit. While Thornton didn't confess. That's too good. While Thornton didn't confess, he'll also lose sleep over the multiple run-ins with Madden at the World Finals. He broke down his race in greater detail and with greater disappointment than Madden. It's unfortunate he got into me on lap 4. After that, I was riding around Bobby, even though my name's Ricky, in third. Then had a restart on lap 18 and was about to get around old Bobby Ricky, but he had a flat tire at that point. Was able to get to second, but couldn't ever get close enough to make a move other than like a restart, a turn 1 bomb or something like that. I guess I probably should have used him like he used me. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like I said, I thought we had a really good car, but that Madden fucked it up. A first, fourth, and second in 3 races at the World Finals is nothing to be ashamed about. We really have this team turned around. We changed stuff quite a bit. Stuff I didn't realize was going on that I wanted to have changed. Since then, our program has been really good. In addition to never mind, I ain't going to say that. I ain't making up no more quotes. Thornton thought that with a race car at full strength, he could have found his way around Madden. I think so. Even with it messed up, there were a few times I'd get all the way to him, but then I was so pissed off I kept trying to run him over, so I really lost a lot of speed doing that. He didn't say that. I just made that up. That's actually what happened in my opinion. Really, at the start of the race, I was cruising around. It was unexpected for them to run as hard as they did. That early, it didn't make sense to me. They got by the way. As I said, I was able to get close to Bobby. And that's the debate. I'm not even going to continue. Getting close to Bobby. Who is the better late model driver this year? That's up for debate. Obviously, SSI and Ricky Thornton Jr. parting ways definitely detoured RTJ being ranked as the better of the two because of the stats in the stat column. It looked like RTJ was on his way to just dominating the season with no questions asked. It was going to be really, really, really good for RTJ in the results column, but it just didn't work out. Other late model news, it dropped today that Brandon Shepard going back to the Rocket House car for 2025, which obviously left T-Mac without a ride. Not too long, though. As always, we drink to this. Old Boom Briggs slid up into the situation and picked Tim McCready up for the 2025 season in some kind of, it's hinting to some kind of extended partnership. I know it's a Rocket car, and Boom Briggs and Mark Richards have a very close relationship, but it looks like Boom Briggs is going to be fielding a car for Tim McCready this next season. So everybody's figured out there. Everything's going fine. Everything was just normal news as usual, and then this fucking shit happens. What do we do here, guys? I mean, hold on. Let me close these tabs out because we're to the nitty-gritty now. What the fuck is this? I'm just scrolling around Sunday night, having a good old time, blowing rocks everywhere. And this comes across my feed. Oh, I couldn't believe it. We'll get to the response here to this post. Screenshot on Peyton Taylor's Facebook page. Barry Bron, head honcho at XR, says, cheers to whomever took the Thornton Madden Marlar photo from Charlotte. It absolutely overshadowed any results from the event and all the dust picks. You are owed a beer. Peyton Taylor comes on and says, I've kept my mouth shut for as long as I can. Did they plan this on the same night as Yellowstone? You know, the Yellowstone comeback. It's like this whole showdown, same night as Yellowstone. Yellowstone comes back and this does too. It's like a whole Wild West shootout. I've kept my mouth shut for as long as I can. You owe everyone that's raced with you or worked for you shit tons of money. And you have the nerve to get on here and downgrade a crown jewel event and their track prep? I'll give you some content to bitch about tomorrow. Stay tuned, bitch. He should have said bitch again. Would have been funny. So Peyton Taylor gets on there and says that. This post gets deleted by Barry Bron. Peyton Taylor comes back. That's what this post is, a follow-up. This got posted to blast another series and staff. Then once it backfired, it was deleted. Along with most of the folks out there. I'm over it. He still owes our team $100,000 after 2 months, along with many other racers that have been skated. If you think Charlotte was brutal, wait till you see my vid tomorrow. I'm all about what is good for our industry, and one thing is certain, it's not you. My apologies if you disagree, but this is just from my end of the table. In my personal opinion, he's entitled to it now. Trump won, so he gets to do this. So, Peyton Taylor, for those who don't know it, he was the car owner of the 20 RT that Ricky Thornton Jr. won the $100,000 to win stock car race at the Yankee Dirt Classic, which is right here, 20 RT Ricky Thornton Jr. Funny, 2 Ricky Thornton Jr. topics, but he wins in everything. This was a highly anticipated race, had hundreds of cars entered to it, and they picked up the win. This was in, August or July? What was it? August 30th is when this concluded. And according to Peyton Taylor in this post, he hasn't been paid for winning that race. Now, there is a video that came out. We could go down the comments of this. This gets brutal on Barry Bron. Lots of people agreeing he's a piece. I mean, and one thing that was fucked up about this post, and I'll definitely side with Peyton on this. Most people, they want to get on here and just trash Barry Bron. Somebody I've worked for, don't work for anymore. Very self-decision making on that for sure. But there's more to take away from this after seeing all this happen and the video that I really think everybody just needs to understand. And I'm not against what Peyton's doing here, but the one thing I would take offense of is Mike Van Ganderen, who they had working that dirt at Charlotte, is a guy that I personally saw Barry Bron introduced to the national scene in a way. You know, they brought Mike Van Ganderen in to do the Bristol Motor Speedway. They brought him in to do different racing events for the big XR shows, which set up the connections that led to this connection, I would assume, with the WRG and these bigger and grander events. Mike Van Ganderen, one of the best dirt workers in the country, who's actually done work with Barry, and he's in here trashing him. Because who's responsible for a dusty track, right? It's the guy who does the dirt, right? It's the guy who worked the track. Which, I don't know, you know, obviously Charlotte in itself has an inherited issue with dust being an issue. I know last year, the year before, it wasn't that bad. 3 years ago, you couldn't even see the damn race from the broadcast. Broadcast didn't look that bad this year, but the pics were going around how bad it was on the grandstand side. So I think that's where some of these comments are coming from as well. Some of these this angle, you know, because Van Ganderen is such a well-respected guy that people have seen him work with Barry in the past. There's a bunch of stuff in here, serious or not. I would not listen to Gage Martinez. That's a controlled opposition account. But yeah, there's a bunch of guys in here. Y'all can go look at it and see what everybody says. You even had Cody Summer in one of these posts, you know, saying, we back you on this 100%. Thank you for saying something. And there's a lot of people saying, thank you for saying something about this. Now, there is a video that he posted on his Facebook today. Peyton Taylor on his Facebook. It has 97,000 views right now, almost 2,000 likes, closing in on 300 comments. And in this, Peyton Taylor explains who he is, his family being involved with racing, Batesville Motor Speedway. He's directly connected to the entire racing scene down there. And it seemed like, obviously, the news of him not being paid this $100,000 from this race, that point was made in all the things that happened yesterday. And today, this video I watched obviously reiterated that, but it also said some other evil things about Barry Bron and XR. I don't think it named it by name, but that's, everybody knows that's who the insinuation is, although he might be being smart here. And he was talking about Bristol being a money grab, the first one that was a huge success. Talking about he had to buy a pit pass to even enter the track. At that situation, do you blame Barry Bron for that? I mean, we hear about these outlaws, people, and promotional groups renting a track, you know, renting your little local speedway, and it costs a little bit of money. How much do you think it costs to rent Bristol? Now, I'm not giving an excuse. I understand the premise. The look of it looks really bad. If it was me, I would have just upcharged the pit pass and said, all right, free reign instead of doubling up. But there was like an infield separate pass at the Bristol races. So that's what he's talking about there. I feel like people who don't know what he meant by had to buy a pit pass to get on the track to race didn't really know what that meant. But there was a pit pass to get into the pit area, which was outside of the track. And then to go into the infield of the track in that staging / getting ready to race area, you had to have a separate pass. So, and I didn't like that when I saw that, but hey, I halfway understand how everything has to cost more to have a race at Bristol. It just has to. Now, one of the main points that was being made here, though, and I feel like this is the point that needs to be hit. If you want to go watch this, it's 8 minutes long. It's a great video. But I'm just telling you my takeaways and telling you kind of what I was relayed. There's some other things in there talking bad about Barry Bron and talking about the effects of how he operates. But the effects of how he operates, I think, was the main thing pointed out here. And one of the operational ways that he does things is pissing off some people. And that main operational way of doing things, surprise, surprise, has to do with the money. Now, in this video, I believe he says word for word, it shouldn't take 75 to 100 days to get paid, which is an issue for the dirt racing world, right? Because the dirt racing world's used to getting paid that night right after the damn race at the gate. Give me my money, I'm gone. I talked to other officials, other people. World of Outlaws, Lucas Oil are usually paid same day. Some other events, even if it's a rental track or something like that, the max you'll see is 10 days out on a lot of any event you could think of. Max is 10 days before you see some money in, even if it's a huge amount. Now, some people would call that dumb. You know, what if you tire test and the dude pops negative? Now you have to reject her. What do you do? How do you get that back? So there's a bunch of different things in operation there, but most people are used to getting paid at the end of the night. The 75 to 100 day deal, though, has definitely rubbed the dirt world the wrong way. I got people messaging me, he ain't paid this guy, he ain't paid that guy, he ain't paid this guy either, he ain't paid this. Apparently, after all of the things that happened here in this situation, Peyton Taylor, it sounds like, don't know if this is true or not, has received a check for $100,000 all of a sudden. Don't know how this is, don't know how it works, but apparently he's been paid. That's like happened today after all this. That's what I mean, apparently. Now, I don't know how it's going to look like. Was a check in the mail? That's obviously a very funny XR event quote, checks in the mail, because we've heard about this distance of how long it takes to get paid from an event. But whether that's true or not, here's the issue. The issue is the dirt world is used to getting paid at the end of the night or very, very shortly after. Once you get past 2 weeks or 10 days, this dirt world is viewing it as you're robbing them. This dirt world is viewing it like you're never going to pay them. Hell, I experienced this with Barry in a sense. I was like freaking out after 2 weeks. I'm like, what the hell? Where's the money? Now, it did come quicker than this. And some people will say, well, if your name, you know, I'm just a mid-pack guy. If you're Bobby Pierce, you're this guy or that guy, you're going to get paid very quickly compared to some of this mid-packer guy or that guy or whatever. I know a guy, very marquee name, not a big fan of him personally. Not a big fan of him because he ruined one of my favorite drivers' years. He hasn't apparently been paid since, and this was a race in June, I believe. I'd have to look it up and see what he said, but June. And this is a marquee name, guys. It's one of the biggest names in the sport. He hasn't been paid either. Now, there's a lot of people who haven't been paid, but there's this 75-day to 100-day deal with tire sampling and all these samples. And Barry is adamant on saying he doesn't just sample Blue Ridge. He goes to a couple different labs and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And this is, and see, that's where these dirt people, they don't like this shit. They don't like that blah, blah, blah. And then back to car counts at certain places. Peyton Taylor referenced it in here. You guys wonder why there was a low car count at Pennsboro. And he's saying this is why. And what he's saying there is very true. Whether Barry is paying these guys after 75 to 100 days, these guys are not very happy that it's taking 75 to 100 days at all. They're seeing it as an anomaly. They're seeing it as disrespectful. They're seeing it as snaky, as sleazy, as potentially trying to get out from paying. Then they're seeing these events charge big entry fees in the off season, and when the entry fees pile in, now all of a sudden checks are in the mail. So it looks like a flotational device, you know, a Peter DePaul situation. And so that's what it looks like. That doesn't mean that is what it is. Regardless, you have a situation here where, and now for sure, drivers don't like this. They're not going to support this waiting around. They're not going to like it anymore, and they're sure as hell not going to like it. Now, there's people on Peyton Taylor's Facebook page now, after this video came out. Let me show you this one. There's people on Peyton's Facebook page sharing the video saying, thanks, canceling XR subscriptions. pay Peyton Taylor. Now, the scary part about this is if Peyton actually, if he actually did get paid today, like I've been hearing, and it was a check in the mail predating this video, this is where it gets creepy. And see, this is why I don't come on here when I hear this guy or that guy hasn't been paid. I don't come on here and say, hey, this guy hasn't been paid. Why this rumor of people not getting paid from XR events or extremely delayed has been going on for over a year plus. This is like not news to the behind the scenes element of the world. But I'm not going to sit here and just like the other situation, a private situation, I'm not going to sit here and stand up for you and your girl or what you owe or what somebody needs to pay you or this, that, or the other. For me, you can say that shit. Do you know how many people want me to say this or that earlier in the year when I had my buddy Kokomo situation? Oh, I had people saying you should say this and say this and say this. He did that, he did that, he did that. Not Buddy Kofoy, but the situation, the name that's not going to be named right now. He did this, you should get on there and say that. I'm like, why the fuck am I getting on there and saying it? You should be getting on there and saying it. Why am I having to take the bullet? You people should be getting on here. And maybe that's what Peyton is going to spur here. Because it sounds like there's some very prominent names and people, and maybe not even prominent, even if you're not prominent. He is definitely not the only one that feels this way or is sitting in a similar situation. If this is happening to you, don't come fill up my fucking inbox with the shit. Do exactly what he just did. Hopefully he's the inspiration for you people. There should have been 1,000 shares here and say, yeah, I haven't been paid from this date. Yeah, I haven't been paid from that date. Yeah, he hasn't paid me yet. And then you could group together. It's called class action. Group together and do something about it. Or at least say something about it on your Facebook and share it around or comment or share it here and say, yeah, he hasn't paid me for XYZ date. And do something. Speak up for yourself a little bit. I can only sit here and respond because this guy had the nuts to do what all y'all been thinking about doing. Obviously, it took $100,000 in some stock car owner, but he had the nuts to do it. And he should be inspiring all the other guys who may be stock car guys or mid-pack late mile guys to get out there and say something about it if you don't like it. Now, here's the hard fucking truth that you ain't going to like, and maybe they're going to change or something like that. But it's his fucking circus, buddy, and if you don't like it, you don't come and race. And that's why his fields have been low. But that's also why people have to accept that if you go and run an XR race and you plan on doing well, in some people's words, you're 75 to 100 days from getting paid. So when you go race this Saturday night, you already know what you're signing up for. I think that's why his fields have been low personally. Because when they roll in that gate, they know what they're signing up for in the payment department. And is that wrong or right? Is it wrong to be paying at the gate after the races? Or is it just something you're used to? This is a matter of perspective as well. I mean, most people go and do contract work. They got to invoice out and they got to wait to get something back and negotiate. Oh, here, this, that, and the other. I mean, I'm just saying in the regular world, there's only a few working scenarios where you go and do the work and you get paid today. There's only a few, you know. So is the 75 to 100 day out with multiple tire tests and this and that and the other logical? Probably. But maybe this is where contracts and shit is going to have to evolve in the dirt world. Maybe in this pit pass situation at XR events, there needs to be some pages added with guaranteed pay dates. Because a lot of the times as well, these XR races aren't really drawing crowds. They're banking on drawing streaming audience for revenue to afford the show. And streaming revenue from a particular date takes time to get in as well. And so there's another additional reason as to why it may take an extremely long time to get a check from an XR racing event. So, once again, maybe in the entry, like any of y'all signing up for an entry to any of these races, when you go to look at that entry online, and you this time maybe just scroll the pages on what you're clicking yes to. Maybe look if there's a guaranteed pay date by race end date on there, on this entry agreement. Because it's an agreement. It's not just an entry registration fee. It's an agreement as well when you pay for that entry. So maybe something needs to be added there. Maybe these are some solutions to XR's problem that they seem to have that all these people are upset about. Maybe if XR has to wait this long of a day or this long of a duration of period to properly pay, to wait for streaming revenue to get in, to wait for tire testing. They've done it long enough now. They know how long that should take. So in the actual entry registration, there's a date on when all payments will be paid by plop. If the race is March 1st, 2025, all competitors from March 1st, 2025 will be paid in full by June 7th, 2025, or something. Because I think if this is the only way XR could pay, if they can't find a way to have the money to pay out that night like everyone else in the industry, here's the options they're left with if they want to do all these big shows and still continue. Because how that's going right now, XR, how you're doing it with this 7,500 and all this delayment of payment has pissed off the entire dirt racing world. All of them. Now, for sure, all the supers were gone. Most of them. I mean, there was a few that showed up, but once again, if you're certain, and this happens in other areas of the country, if you're a certain name or a certain track, you get treated certain ways. If you're mid-packer, you're this or that, you'll get the whole checks in the mail for a couple months. I'm just saying that this is not just the XR scenario. There's other parts of the country where this is happening. Actually, in the PA Sprint Car world, they had this issue. In the PA Sprint Car world, they had this issue of non-payment. And now they are non-existent. And I think for XR, if they want to continue, this business model and way that you're paying people is, if you're not trying to be this horrible guy, it is definitely being misunderstood. And it easily, based on the social norms and payment norms of this racing world, it's definitely being misconstrued for some other mischievous, just trying to get out and don't have the money and all this bankrupt style viewing situation. I mean, who wouldn't be upset if you won a $100,000 race in August and you're trying to buy some damn Christmas gifts that take 8 to 10 weeks to ship in? I'd be losing my fucking mind. Who the fuck do you think you are, XR? Are you sending a fucking letter to St. Nick to tell him why? I mean, come on. I'm just saying, these are some solutions for XR, I think. Put something in your event registration that has all drivers will be paid by this date, whether that's 3 months or 75 days or whatever these people are saying. Put that in there. You should know how long it should take you to get the streaming revenue in, to get the tire tests done, to do all the things you need to have done before you feel comfortable enough to send them their check in the mail. Sounds like an easy solution to me. But the way you're paying isn't accepted by the dirt world. It's rejected, and now it's going to be rejected more than ever. So you're looking at, if you don't address this situation, if you just say, oh, well, Peyton Taylor's a douche, fuck him, we got him his money, blah, 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 blah. It don't matter if Peyton Taylor's got his money. Because this is what the whole back gate's been saying for a while. That's why you ain't been getting cars. And now it's blowed up to the entire fucking racing community at 100,000 large in a couple hours. If that constitutes defamation for Peyton, I don't think it does. Because if that case was to take place, you're going to have a class show up. So, anyway, that's my takeaway from this situation. How XR does things, it's definitely different than everyone else. I think we do need to give a little credit to XR for causing every fucking dollar that's being paid out right now across the dirt world. Every fucking dollar. XR could be possibly to blame for the high limit racing series. For the reason that started. Because I was around in 2021 when XR started putting on these 50,000 to win late model races, throwing the bank out the window to try to disrupt the late model industry. And guess what happened? That was back when 10,000 was the norm. And 30 was a big show. 50 was, oh my God. But because of that XR situation that came in there and big dicked it on the table, here's 50K. The following year, the late model world just started throwing fucking cash at the son of a bitch. And in that year of all the cash getting thrown out to the late model world, isn't that the year that Kyle got out there? And isn't that the year the sprint car people said, I think David's even quoted saying, man, I can't believe how much these late model guys are racing for. And then Brad's like, yeah, we could be racing for that much. Yeah, we could be. And I think that's quoted on a couple Kyle Larson interviews. Yeah, why can't the sprint cars race for that much? And then next thing you know, high limits here. And now they're trying to pay more and Eldora millions and all this shit. All of this has happened because of that XR 2021 year that came out and disrupted the entire industry on base level pay for national late model drivers. And then, of course, the ego and jealousy from the sprint car world reacted to that. So, I guess like earlier when I said, you could blame Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson for starting another series and ruining all of the World of Outlaws situation in the sprint car world, I guess you could technically blame XR and Barry Braun for pushing this new standard of high-paying events, because that's what fucking happened. Became a bidding war. Ego, politics, probably the main source of reasoning. Ego and politics, though, can lead you to these situations. This is a sad situation, because it's sad and it's not, because right now, guys, there's a ton of there's a list of a motherfucking reasons I would want to go off on this situation on the other side, trust me. And I'm setting up some other stuff. It's not Buddy Kofoid level, but we're setting up some other stuff that if that goes through, it'll make this look like, Epstein. This will be some P. Diddy shit. Yeah, I'm just playing, but it'll be interesting to see where this all goes now. Because now, like I said, the green lit's lit. Other people are the drivers. If you want this shit to change, speak the fuck up. I've been saying it this whole time. The problem with the working white class community is a lack of, what is it? What's the damn, it lost my mind. A lack of advocacy. There it is. Lack of advocacy. We don't speak up and try to make changes. Look, because you think, oh, no, I'll just go to work and it'll get done and fixed and I'll make a guy on the screen do it for me. No. Did Trump fix this or did Peyton Taylor? It's just one guy speaking up. He advocated for this shit. It's time for you, if you agree with this as being bullshit, it's time to join him. And XR being the governing body that he's advocating against needs to listen to what he's talking about, recognize the destruction of themselves, how their governmental body, their body is going to be destroyed by operating this way. And if it's the only way you can operate, offering some kind of solution to the problem. Because if there was a date on an event registration that Peyton Taylor signed up for that literally said, you will be paid by November 11th, 2024, this video's never made. If it said you will be paid by November 25th, oh, you'll get a big-ass turkey landing in your front step. Apparently it's mailed. I don't know why you mail a $100,000 check. That sounds crazy to me. But you'll get a big check by November 25th, 2024. It's in the event registration. All money must be paid. This video would have never happened. Would have never happened. So anyways, those are my suggestions. I don't know what people are going to take away. Am I shilling for Barry? I'm not shilling. I'm just talking about suggestions and fix. Let's see here. Oh, God. Of course, the damn comment section is not good. They're acting out at ChatGPT. Dirt track Ponzi scheme. Oh, my God. They're already throwing the insults. Somebody said, I think your blood pressure is up. No, it's the damn room. It's 105 down here. Oh, they're arguing in here about David Gravel and shit. Oh, my God. Pierce had 14 wins and 7 Lucas wins. RTJ had 12 Lucas wins and 1 World of Outlaw win. Seems to me World of Outlaws had the top 2 dirt guys. I'm sorry. Don't agree. Anyways, Knoxville pays the following Wednesday direct deposit. Yeah, I mean, once you get past 10 days, you're outside the payment social norms, and this whole entire dirt community is going to reject it. Will never be accepted. The fallout of you just doing it is what we got today. It's what we got today, and it's what we'll get on the fallout of this, because now a bunch of people are going to come and join the advocacy of Peyton Taylor. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got to say today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the show. A little bit over an hour. Perfect time. Perfect time. So hopefully got where I came from with the sweet gravel deal, RTJ deal. I was just trying to be fun there. Hopefully you laughed a little bit. But that's how I would address this. If I'm on the side, I want Barry Braun and XR to pay, or if I want to join, if I agree with what Peyton said and that same shit's happening to me, I'm speaking up about it. And if I'm XR and Barry Braun, and this is the only way I can operate, is by paying these large payouts at a very delayed rate, my event registration in the future is going to have a date on when these guys will be paid by. And I think that'll settle a lot of these issues that these guys are having. Although that Kokomo late model driver, I can't believe you have not paid him. I wonder if we can get him on the show. That'll be interesting. We'll see. I'll try to get him on. We'll see what happens. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I feel like I never say that. I just try to normally grow. Like the video, comment below, join the membership down there, get your name on the screen up here, like Deathridge, like Prime, like all these other guys. If you're interested in joining the sponsorship, contact us on Facebook and all these things. We'll make a commercial, do all these things, get you out there to the racing world. We're not afraid to talk and discuss on all these different topics. This isn't just a boardroom or a news desk. This is the Chaz, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we will catch you next time.
Come, we don't feast with the beast and the evil hunting lust. Burn your cheeks when I speak with my real passion, love. Turning all your tricks against you, cause you're one and only master here. God, ready to rip, I'm a high, ready to rip. I'm a ready to rip, hey, ready to rip, ready to rip, hey, ready to rip, ooh, yeah. Trying my hardest to stay with the best, flexing Giannis on my chest, facing problems down the depths. Ready to rip, ready to reach. Place my bets, hey, you never know when playing on host what you can achieve. Making the go, peace with the soul, don't matter the bottle with what you believe. Cause if I'm taking it all in the calling, it's harder with nothing that's harder than free. Not giving up, no, don't trip, gotta go. Take a slip, make a pass on the low. Put it down the gas for a show. Slide a pass on the grass for the opo. Got first, never last for the oh no. To the pass of the glass of the photo. Cause I'm gonna pass all you cowards with ease. And when them speeding demons come, we don't feast with the beast and the evil hunting lust. Burn your cheeks when I speak with my real passion, love. Turning all your tricks against you, cause you're one and only master here.